We turn now to Capitol Hill, where we find our Caitlin Huey-Burns. There are not many members of Congress there, but you are. Caitlin, catch us up on what is or isn't happening.
Yeah, Major, can you hear my echo here? It is so empty. I can't think of any other job in any other industry where you could go home for 2 weeks without actually completing the task you were supposed to complete before leaving town. But this is Congress. Here we are again, and Congress has left for a 2-week recess without solving this issue. If you remember, last week, the Senate, by unanimous consent, passed a measure to fund pretty much everything in DHS except for ICE. The House decided they didn't like that. They didn't even take it up, even though it had been negotiated by Republican Majority Leader John Thune. House Speaker Mike Johnson instead had them pass a 2-month continuing resolution to kick the can down the road further. Meanwhile, Americans everywhere are wondering, why can't Congress figure it out, and how are they allowed to leave these halls without having done so? So I put that exact question to one Republican member of Congress I found up here on Capitol Hill today. Take a listen to what he had to say.
To your point, people have every right to be frustrated, but let's not forget, this is the deal is cut if the Democrats will just give us that 60-vote threshold and actually have a vote.
But they say that the Senate already came to a deal, that your Republican colleagues over there already came to an agreement, and then the House didn't pass it.
Well, I think that what is very clear is if you looked at the fine print, when I've talked to senators over the weekend and they saw that they would gut DHS, they realized that this is something they didn't want to either. And I'm glad to see that there are more discussions going on. I think Steve Scalise over the weekend described that there was a lot of buyer's remorse when people started to look at the fine print. And I hope that we can work out an agreement sooner than later.
So bottom line, Major, as you can see from that, the House and the Senate just aren't on the same page, but they aren't physically here to talk to one another. Now, lawmakers have told me today that they are still working behind the scenes, even though they're home in their home districts and states, to try to get to some conclusion. But there isn't really an end in sight because they are so far apart on some of these issues. So we will wait and see whether the public pressure building up as they are back home, whether they are starting to get earfuls. But I should note, Major, as you and Nicole were just talking about, yes, TSA officers are starting to get the paychecks that are due to them, but FEMA, Coast Guard, other agencies within DHS are still going without pay. And we are in the middle, of course, of peak travel season, but also in the middle of a war. And these are significant issues that Congress needs to address, and they are not here, at least at this point, though they will say they'll come back if needed.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, Capitol Hill, thank you very much.